The moment you react to disrespect, you've already lost. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harm." But most people misunderstand what that actually means. They think it's about suppressing emotion or being passive, and it's not. It's about understanding that disrespect is a test of your power. And when you react emotionally, you fail that test. So let me show you how you can pass without losing yourself. Now, before we go any further, here are the two ways that most people fail in regards to handling disrespect. Number one is the reactive response. Something happens or someone says something to you and you react with anger. You react impulsively and allow that to wind you up internally. What happens is you might start shouting, screaming, getting upset, and ultimately giving away all of your energy in an expression of a response. Now, the second way that most people fail is a passive response. And a passive response is something happens to you or someone says something to you, and instead of responding, you choose to hold it within. You unregulate your emotions. You don't say anything back just to keep the waters cool, but you ruminate over it throughout the entire day. And what this does is it gets you wound up internally and you start playing different scenes in your head. I should have said this, I could have said this, I should have done that. And your emotions end up being stagnant and stuck within you, which honestly is even worse. And the problem is that both of these responses give your power away. The first one gives it away in your reaction, and the second one drains your energy by ruminating on it throughout the whole day. And the energetic truth is that disrespect is a frequency test. Sometimes the universe or the old frequency will put objects in your way or people to upset you in order to bring you back to your old frequency. Now, if you're in a new frequency and you're getting towards your goals, you're trying to materialize your dream life, you're meditating, you're visualizing, that scares the old frequency because it knows that if there's no attention or energy towards the old version of you, then it will eventually die off. So sometimes what happens is it puts things in your path to get wound up and respond like you would have back in the past. And as well as this, there's also an identity connection. And we need to come to the understanding that disrespect only hurts when it triggers something that you already believe about yourself. So instead of getting wound up and getting annoyed at the person or circumstance that brought out that reflection, it is better to work on our internal beliefs that we have about ourselves and rewrite them to a degree in which nothing can actually affect us. Let's say someone makes a disrespectful comment towards your physique, but internally you have a belief that matches up to what they said about you. The only reason that you find it disrespectful is because you internally believe that to be true about yourself. So the way that you can fix this is rewrite that belief and see the complete opposite. Because when you start to believe that you have the dream physique already, that you are who you say you are, then someone's little comment or hiccup in your day isn't really going to affect you. And the last truth to come to is to detach and be in the knowing that the people who make these disrespectful, insulting comments are in low frequency themselves. They're not in their desired reality. They're not in their desired state of abundance. Because if they were, they wouldn't be taking time out of their day to actually insult you or disrespect you in that manner. So now I'm going to give you a practical framework on how you can actually handle disrespect. So the first step that you should do when someone's insulted you, whether that be, on social media, in person, whatever, is to just pause. Take deep breaths in. Don't react impulsively. Just take 3 to 5 seconds to just be present. Because what you'll find is that what you would have done out of direct impulse, you probably won't. Now, the second thing you want to do is assess the situation. Assess the event, the person, the circumstances, and ask yourself these questions. Do I respect this person's opinion? Is this feedback valid or is it just projection? And will me engaging in this benefit me in any way? If the answer to all three of those questions is no, then that means that that person or event was just an indifference. There's no point of wasting your energy on that at all. And come to the understanding that if you did respond or react emotionally or internally, it would just be wasting all of the energy that you could then go and put into other and better areas of your life. The next thing to do is to respond from your desired reality or desired frequency. And what I mean by this is ask yourself, that dream version of me that's living the life that I want, that has everything that I want, that is the person that I want to become, how would that person react? How would he or she think, feel? What thoughts would they have on a day-to-day basis? How would they react to this direct scenario? And what would their emotional state be like? For most of you, I could only imagine that that dream state, you would want to feel calm, confident, collected within yourself to the point where you are no longer externally reliant on seeing reality change. You don't really care if someone comes up to you and gives you approval or disapproves or disrespects you because you're internally validated yourself. And some examples of this could be, imagine that you know within yourself the goals that you want to achieve. You feel fit, you feel healthy within yourself. If someone comes to you and says, you need to lose weight, you need to do X, Y, Z. You don't care. You don't give a fuck. You don't care because internally you know that you were the version of you. You've assessed the situation, you've asked the questions, they're in indifference, there's no point in giving them your energy, and you were the highest version of you that has everything that you want, that is the healthy version of you, that has the great physique. Well, how would you react? You wouldn't even care. You wouldn't even give them your energy. You wouldn't even respond, really. You would just keep going about your life because at the end of the day, you know that that response is only going to waste your energy. You know that it's not going to go towards getting you the goal that you want to hit. And the last thing that I want to mention is just who gives a fuck? Honestly. Everything outside of you, everything outside of your internal consciousness, your body, your actions, your behaviors is external, and therefore you cannot control them. So relying on controlling them is like trying to change the weather outside. It's never going to happen, and you know it's not going to happen. So why allow it to upset you and ruin your day? And here are some pointers on what not to do and what to do when it comes to reframing this internally. So let's say something's happened to you, someone's got you upset, they've worked you up. Here's what not to do. Don't replay it in your head. Don't craft perfect comebacks or seek validation from others, and don't ruminate, because all of this is just giving energy to the problem itself. Now, if you don't want to see it within your life, then you need to remove that attention and focus, because where attention goes, energy flows. So if you're consistently focusing on the negatives, on the problems, on the disrespect, on the insults, it's going to consistently show up in your life in ways that are hidden to you. Now, here's what to do when things happen. Number one is come to an understanding that their disrespect is just a projection of their internal state. And number two, understand that most times it's not a you problem, it's a frequency problem. And I mean this on your behalf and theirs. Most of the time, people are operating on such low frequencies where negative, low energy emotions are at the forefront of their brain and their day-to-day living. Therefore, you can't expect them to always treat you the best. And the second way of looking at it is your own frequency. If you're not operating at the highest frequency possible in relation to your desired reality, what you want to achieve, then the old frequency can get in the way to try and drag you back to its old patterns, its old way of thinking and behaviors. So once you understand this, just become aware and realize it's not you that's the problem. And finally, I'm gonna leave you with this identity shift. And here's what happens when you start handling disrespect this way. You become someone that disrespect can't penetrate. You'll begin to operate from internal security rather than external validation. Other people's energy doesn't dictate your state, and you stop becoming someone who reacts to disrespect. And instead, you become someone who's simply unaffected by it. And that's true power. Because when you can remain centered regardless of what energy comes at you, you've mastered yourself. And self-mastery is the ultimate form of power and a prerequisite to materializing your desired reality. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember this. It's not about you, it's about them. And the moment you take it personally, the moment you react emotionally, you've given them your power. So here's what I want you to do. Next time you face disrespect, pause for 3 seconds, assess whether they're worth giving your energy or not, respond from the center or don't respond at all, and watch how untouchable you'll become. Because you don't need to win arguments, you don't need to prove anything. All you need to do is hold your desired frequency and become someone that disrespect can't touch. Become someone that operates from such a deep internal security that external opinions are just noise. Now go take your power back. I'll see you in the next one.